Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll connect Git to GitHub, and to do that, we need to do some configuration on Git. Since we are using GitHub, GitHub has provided us with tools which make it easier to connect it to GitHub. So we'll be using Git Desktop to make that easier. So open up your browser, then search Git Desktop. So click on the first option, Git Desktop. If you are using Mac, you download for Mac. Since I'm using Windows, so I'll just download from Windows. Then I'll click on Save. Since I've downloaded it, so I'll just click on Cancel. So I'll open up the folder where I downloaded it. Then double click on the setup file to install. So let's wait for it to install. It will open by itself after installation. So let's wait. So it has finished installing. So let's open it up. We'll look at these three options: clone a repository, create a new repository, and add an existing repository. And also we'll look at all these options one by one. So let's start with creating a new repository. From our previous project, we have deleted the Git repository for our playground project because this will be a separate project on its own. So we have deleted the Git repository. So let's initialize a new Git repo and upload this playground project to GitHub. So let's use GitHub Desktop instead of using the command line. So let's create a new repository. Creating a new repository with GitHub Desktop will create a new project and initialize a Git repository in it. But since you have created the project already, which is Playground, we don't want to recreate another project again. So we must use the exact project name, which is Playground. So type in the exact name, Playground. The description, this is the summary of what this project is all about. So I will type in, this is for reference, on HTML and CSS. This local part, this is the folder where we want the project to be created in. Since web project is the parent folder, so we have to make sure you select the folder where you want it to be created in. So I will select web project. This readme, if this project would benefit other developers, then this readme is required. But since this is a personal project, it's not necessary to initialize a readme. This description is enough. So the git ignore file, this is to exclude some file. We'll use this later in this course, but for now we won't be using this git ignore file. And the line says, since this project is not for other developers, so using the license option is not required. So just click on create repository. This error is to tell us that we need to do some configuration on Git. So let's click on close. We'll do this later. It has added one file for us called .git attributes. This is a path specific settings file. This is where we set it, but we can delete this file for now. So we'll look at this file later, but we can ignore it for now. So let's open up our editor. So this is the file .git attributes. The reason why you are seeing this A symbol beside this file is to tell us that this file has been added to the staging area. So that's the reason why we are getting this A symbol. Stage changes. So we look at this later when we will start with git command. So we look at this later. So let's delete this .git attribute. To do that, we have to unstage it first. So just click on this minus symbol. Then click on this redo. Just click on this, and this will delete the file. So press delete. The reason why we get this error is that the repository is empty. There's no project yet in the .git repository. So what I mean is that this folder, our project is not there yet. So that is why we are getting that error. So we can just cancel this since we fixed that later. So let's connect this to GitHub. So we'll be taking this project to GitHub. So open up the Git desktop. Then click on File. then options, then under this account, so let's sign in to our GitHub account, then click on continue with browser, then enter your email address and password or your username. So I'll use my mail address, then password, then click on sign in. Open up your email address to verify your mail, then click on GitHub, then copy the verification code, highlight and press Ctrl C to copy, then paste the code, use Ctrl V, then click on authorize desktop, then open GitHub desktop. It will automatically open in GitHub desktop. So let's wait for it to finish the connection. So it has finished connecting to GitHub. So click on file, options. We have successfully connected our Git desktop to GitHub. So let's look at the other options, integrations. So here we can select the editor that we want to use. So I'm satisfied with the Visual Studio Code because that's the one we installed. For the shell, select Git bash. For the Git option, this is your name on GitHub. So mine is Aptutus. For this email address, this is the email address that is assigned to my account by GitHub. So you can change it to your own email address, but I will use the default GitHub email address for my account. For the default branch name, we can use main or master, or use the other by writing our own branch name, but we'll look at this later in the course. But for now, just use master since that is the commonly used one. For the appearance, you can use the light theme or the dark theme. This will just check the appearance of this Git desktop, the UI, the graphic user interface. If you switch to dark mode, we have to restart this GitHub desktop before it can show that. So I will tick on dark mode. Then for the prompt, so everything here is okay. And for the advanced setting, everything is okay. So we can just leave these default options. Then click on save. So for us to publish our repository, publishing a repository means uploading the .git folder to GitHub. If you remember, when we initialize a repository, the .git folder is created automatically. So we'll be uploading that to GitHub. But before we can do this, we need to do some configuration on Git. In the next tutorial, we'll publish our repository to GitHub. Thanks for listening.